Hi everyone, it's Giselle here with another message about... It was actually a request from one of my subscribers wanting to know more about how to figure out who your false twin is and who your true twin is, because I do have a series on here that I've started when, well, I think it was my third video, and then every now and again I continued on talking about this in several videos following that one, basically sharing my false twin experience and trying to give more guidance on how to be discerning and to really know whether the person you think who's your twin is actually your twin or if you have been deceived. And I'm doing this for this subscriber, but also for everyone else, because I understand the reason why I do these videos and all these updates and readings on YouTube is because I do understand not everyone can afford a reading. So I'm hoping that this is helping you all with the free guidance that I can give you. So I want to say that I've had a lot of personal private clients who have actually awoken to this fact. I was in contact with a divine masculine as well, who's actually said to me that they recently discovered that their person who they thought was their twin was actually their false twin. And I didn't want to pry, so I never asked them how did they come to this conclusion, because our journeys are very personal to us, and I just sense that this person's quite private and also didn't actually come for guidance, just sometimes contacts me to share a few things here and there, and so I feel it's not my place to ask, you know. But I want to share with you how I actually found this out, and from some people that I do readings for who don't mind me sharing, I also want to share because I feel this will help everyone, especially if you can't afford to get a reading with me right now. So how I discovered that or the difference anyway between my false twin and my true twin, and the reason why I was even given a false twin to begin with. I met my false twin after breaking up with a karmic that I was with for nearly a decade. And the reason, now I can see the reason. At the time I was very angry and I was very resentful, and I was just like, universe, why would you give me such a horrid man to trick me to think that he was my beloved when in fact he was not? And I've since come to peace with it. I can be dramatic at times, but now I fully understand why I was given this man. Because basically what was happening with my karmic is we were breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together, and that cycle actually lasted for 3 years. And this is why I tell people to give their not their karmics a break, but to give their twin flames a break when they are in a karmic relationship. Because I went through it myself before I'd even met my twin, before I even knew I had a twin. I went through it myself, so I can understand that fully with full compassion, why they are doing this. It's out of fear. I didn't want to leave my karmic out of fear, out of comfort, out of not believing in myself enough. Because back then, I didn't realize how beautiful and amazing of a person I really truly was. And I thought that I had already forged this life and it was a shame to give it all up. Because we were nearly together for a decade, and it discouraged me, thinking, because when we did break up, I did go on dates, you know, it's not like I never tried, but every person I'd met was just, oh, dreadful. And I never clicked with anyone, so that's why I kept coming back. And whenever he would initiate getting back together, and I'd be like, yeah, okay. Because I felt discouraged with everyone I was meeting, and I know that that's not right. And that's not a reason to stay. But that's my lesson I had to learn. And so the universe gave me my false twin on, well, about a month after I'd broken up with my karmic for the final time. And this was the universe's way of saying, look, you really need to stop doing this, getting back together and all this business. It's really bad for you. You've been doing this on and off for 3 years. It's absolutely ridiculous, you know. Get it together, woman. So they gave me my false twin. So I would have a taste for what it would be like to have a twin flame experience. And the reason why I had to be given a false twin was so that I would be pushed even further to love myself. Because when I met my false twin, I still didn't really love myself. And I do realize that now. At the time I thought, oh, I'm a great catch and all this, but that was me, you know, trying to big myself up. But in actuality, deep down inside, I didn't feel I was worthy. When I met him, I was so intimidated. I thought, what the heck does this beautiful, tall, dark, athletic man want with me? And I didn't see how beautiful I was at the time. And this is the difference, because when I met my twin, I felt confident. I felt on top of the world. I felt like I had everything to offer. And that's the difference. My false twin magnified all of my negativities. Although he did initiate change within me, they were driven out of fear and out of guilt and shame. Whereas the changes that my twin has initiated within me are to dream bigger, to dream better. But I was already at a place of loving myself properly. And that's the main difference, is the feelings that your false twin will generate within you make you feel small, make you feel dark, and shrink all of your feelings. I hope this makes sense. But the feelings that you will get from your true love will expand you, will set you free, will allow you to dream, to create the life that you've never even imagined. And when I'd met my false twin, the reason why I had to meet him was so that I wouldn't go back to my karmic. That's the only reason. But I was also meant to meet him so that I would see why I was not loving myself enough. And do something about it. You know? And I did. And thank God I did, because then I met my true love and I've never looked back. My true love is my perfect match. My false twin was what I thought I wanted, but actually wasn't really any good for me at all. You know, he was good on paper. You know, he looked good. He sounded great. I loved his voice. He had, on paper, he had a good job. We had so much in common. Future plans were seemingly aligned. But then when I got to know him, he was bordering on an alcoholic and very self-deprecating, constantly making himself, you know, jokes of himself, but in a very negative way. And he actually gave off a very negative vibe. And once my blinders were taken off, I stopped seeing him in this very tunnel-visioned way. I really saw how negative he truly was. And he wasn't the encouraging, loving, unconditionally loving man that I deserved. And what I thought was love or care was narcissistic and egotistical. And it wasn't at all unconditional or expanding. And the tears I cried for him were out of desperation and fear. Whereas if I did cry at times for my beloved, but they were tears of peace, of deep love. They never came of a place of darkness and hatred and fear and anger. They came of a place of love. A place of wanting to give love. A place of needing more love, but also it was always love, no matter what. It was always love. And that was the difference. You know, where my false twin could only push me so far, to a certain extent, my true twin has expanded and turned my life upside down. I don't even recognize my life, the person who I've become. Everything about me has expanded for the better, and it's continuing to expand. And also, one of the things that I'll tell you now is my false twin. I would never feel their energy. Not really. I thought I did, but I never truly did. Whereas with my true love, I feel their energy all the time, and I learn from them. You know, they're constantly teaching me, they're constantly guiding me, they're constantly cheering me on, and they're constantly loving me, carrying me. When I'm sad, I can feel them hugging me, no matter what. And whenever I feel fed up, because I'm human at the end of the day, sometimes it happens, you know, you get a bit annoyed, and you're like, yeah, forget this, I'm off, bye. He pulls me right back in. The signs and synchronicities, the constant reminders of, I'm here, my darling, I'm not letting you go. No way am I letting you go. Constantly being reminded, no matter what I do. And so that's the difference. The spiritual connection, the true love, not the anxiety, not the fear, not the belittling, the ego-driven, you know, because whenever I tried to improve myself for my false twin, it was always out of fear. Oh gosh, he probably thinks I'm too fat, let me lose some weight. Whereas for my beloved, I'm already feel unconditionally loved by him on the physical and on the spiritual. I never think that I need to improve for, you know, for him to like me more, because I know he already loves me regardless. But I do it for my own health, for my own happiness, because I want to look great for myself and not just for looks. I want to be fit so I can have children with him and all of that. And there's the difference. And I hope that this has clarified a few things for you, and that you can see from this, you know, how, and I hope this applies to your life, and that you can actually start to look out for the signs yourself. And while some people may resent having met their false twins, at the end of the day, it does serve a purpose, because for me, I needed that kick up the bum from the universe to say, okay, you know what, you really need to stop going back to this karmic guy, man. I mean, seriously, you're taking the mick. So they gave me my false twin to kickstart my journey. But had I met my true twin then, I was still stuck in my old beliefs. So back then I was still believing that my beloved should be older than me, you know, a foot taller than me, and all this stupidity, you know, silly little restricting beliefs that I had. But that's why I had to meet a false, to get the contrast. You know, you need the darkness to see the light. And had I met him back then, I wouldn't have appreciated him. I may have brushed him off and ruined things. Not forever, of course. But the universe felt it in my interest to learn the lessons with the false twin first. And I do understand that now, and I am grateful for that, now that I fully see what was going on. But we are shown these things for contrast, to break down our beliefs. I had to be given someone good enough for me to leave my karmic forever, but also someone close enough for me to not be put off because it doesn't align with any of my beliefs. And then once I was ready to fully accept, once I was fully open, because when I basically what happened, about a year after my false twin and I didn't work out, I wrote a letter to the universe and I said, either send him back to me if he's meant for me, or give me my true love. And so I met my true love about less than a year later. But during that year, I was really preparing myself. You know, I was really doing everything in my power to change and to be the woman that my true love deserved. And so I met him. And I hope that this has helped you. If you do have any suggestions, because I do like getting people's feedback on my work, then do let me know in the comments. If you can't afford a reading, I fully understand, and I will try to do it in a video, because I also feel that it won't just help you, it'll help everyone else who's drawn to that particular video. So thank you for your suggestion, you know who you are, and thank you everyone for listening to me. And I'll be continuing on the series, so this is not the final video. I feel there are still more topics and things to explore, because it's such a fascinating thing. Especially I feel with I'm bringing up this lady again, but the client I had yesterday, who she was shocked by the fact that people have false twins, because she'd only just discovered the twin flame thing, so she'd never even heard of a false twin, and she was shocked. She was like, why would there be a false twin? What is the point in that? And so I did explain to her the reason why that has to happen. But there are a lot of things I'm sure that I'll be discovering along the journey with her and other clients that are going through a similar thing. So this series is going to continue. But I thought this was an important update, because I don't think I'd really touched on these points in my other videos. So basically, feel with your heart. Your false twin will make you feel small, will make you feel repressed, will make you feel things out of fear and doubt, whereas your true love will make you feel things out of victory, you know, out of wanting to conquer everything, out of expansion, out of power, out of compassion, and out of unconditional love. Those are the differences. Oh, and really feeling them and only thinking that you're feeling them, because there is a heck of a difference, let me tell you that. So I hope this helped. Thank you so much for listening. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.